Hi guys, it's Allie with Chaos Monkey, and I just wanted to do a relatively quick, I'm actually not sure how long it's going to be. I'm going to kind of do this in sections because I am not feeling very well. I have another infection and I have to wait for the doctor to call and I might interrupt this, but I kind of had to try to do some of this while I still could, also just as a good distraction. So I'm going to just talk for a minute, and while I do, I'm just going to work on my socks. As you guys can see, I haven't made a lot of progress. I was planning on finishing my socks by the end of the month, but it's already, what, the 27th of March, so I don't know if I'm going to make it or not, but I'm going to go ahead and work on these a little bit. So I went ahead and put the heels in. I don't know if you guys saw that. I didn't get a chance to watch my other video, which I might do later, just to make sure I didn't repeat myself, but, so yeah, I am, health-wise, pain-wise, okay, not real great. So I just want to say hello to all my subscribers, and welcome all my new subscribers. I notice I'm getting quite a few every day, so that's really nice. I also want to do some shout-outs. There was some podcasts that I was watching that I hadn't watched before. I always try to scan through and see some of the newer channels with the smaller channels. Or just as time goes on, I get more and more things popping up in my feed that I hadn't seen before. And one of the ones that I was watching that I wanted to do a little shout-out for was Me Moss Craftin'. And another one was Shelly's Sassy Stitches. She was cracking me up. And then Heaven's Peacemaker. I was watching a lot of hers with Beth. And also, I don't know, this might be over because I was planning on filming a lot sooner, but with my health issues and everything, I didn't. But Old Soul Crochet Company with Valerie, she had a sale going on with her patterns, and it was a really good sale, and I didn't double check to see if it was still going on. I'm not sure, but you might want to head over to Valerie's, where did I buy it, Ravelry? No, I bought it off her site. I think I got it off her site. Yeah, I did. I don't know if she sells patterns on Ravelry, but she was selling off of her site for like a pattern package, which was a really good deal. But again, I will link her down below. And even if the sale isn't going on, you should still check her out. She's really awesome. She does a lot of patterns. Excuse me. Hold on, the minute I start talking, my voice starts to go. She does a lot of patterns out of blanket yarn, which is kind of fascinating. So I bought her pattern package because I was going to try to do some of the patterns on her she does amigurumi, in case you didn't know, and they're really adorable out of blanket yarn. And she was doing some loveys as well, and they were, which is, if in case you don't know, is like a part of a stuffy with a blanket attached. And hers were so cute. She uses like a flannel, soft flannel fabric, and she's been doing the flannel on their little feet and their little pads on their hands and feet, and it's so cute. But I was thinking about doing that, and also I had a commission come up, and I was going to try to do it in blanket yarn. Had a friend who wanted a stuffy made out of blanket yarn, and it was, I can't find a pattern for it anywhere. I'll show you guys as I work on it, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make up my own or adapt a few patterns to see if I can get it to work. But it'll be my first time working with blanket yarn to make a stuffy, so I got to get that out of the way first before I can make any of Valerie's stuff, which I'm kind of torn about because you'd think I'd do one of Valerie's first because she's already figured out how to do blanket yarn stuffies. She could probably save me a lot of hassle. But I really don't have the right colors for any of her projects. I did get some cheap kind of blanket yarn type stuff from Hobby Lobby on sale for like $4 a ball, because that stuff's expensive. It can go for like $10 a ball. So I kind of bought what I needed just for the commission at this point, but I don't want to make any of Valerie's stuffies out of the colors I have, so I'll just figure out what I need to figure out for the commission, get the commission done, and then hopefully buy some more yarn in the future to do a few of Valerie's projects, because I know they're adorable, and I know if I made them, people would buy them from me, and because I do sell a lot of the stuff I make, and that is only because I have no income. I do charity knitting and crochet as well, but I also am disabled but not receiving any income for that disability at this time. So I do sell a lot of my stuff to bring in money for me and for more yarn, basically. And I know if I made some of Valerie's stuff, they're so adorable that I know I would sell them. I do have an Etsy shop, but most of my sales are in person with people, and you'll see stuff in my shop, and if it just disappears, that's why, because I sold it to somebody in person, and it doesn't show up as a sale on Etsy. So I think technically I only have like 2 sales in my shop, because I sold a couple of shawls that a lady used as prayer shawls, which was really cool. But all of my other sales have been like in person. I kind of use the shop as like to show people what I've got. So when people are curious, I say go to the shop and look around and see what you like, and then they like something, I just pull it out of the shop and sell it to them directly. That doesn't mean I don't want online sales. That would be awesome. I'd love to sell some stuff online, but I know you guys are also probably not the right audience for that, because you all do your own crafting. You make all your own stuff. So, but if you know anybody who's interested in shawls and stuffies and loveys and hats and character hats and whatever else I have up in there, you can just point them at my shop if you don't want to make it, or if that's not your thing. I don't do a lot of dolls or stuffies in the shop, only because they're really, really time intensive. You don't really get the return money-wise on those. I mean, you're already taking a hit when you make stuff anyway, if you want to sell it at a price that will sell to the muggles, because the muggles don't understand how much yarn costs or how much work goes into something. So I basically get yarn money back and a little tiny bit of labor when I sell stuff on Etsy, and that's fine. You know, I can sell for higher prices to people in person than I can on my Etsy store. And but still, I mean, I still want to sell stuff on Etsy, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go with more knitting and crochet related, but less yarny made stuff to get sales on there. I did buy a sewing machine a while back, but I had to return it because I bought a refurb and it didn't work very well, and the buttonhole thing didn't work. So it had like several settings for the buttonhole to make it, and one of the settings did not work at all, so you couldn't use it to make buttonholes. At that point I was just like, I'm returning it, because if this is a refurb and it still has major stuff wrong on it, God knows what else will go, you know. So I returned it, and I just haven't tried to buy another sewing machine. I honestly don't know how much sewing I'd be able to get done, even if I got a sewing machine again, and bought fabric and learned how to sew. I don't even know how much I'd be able to get done with my health issues. I kind of have to budget my time and energy pretty carefully. And adding another thing on top of everything, I don't know if I'd get anything done. But that, and I do make soap every once in a while. But that I just give or sell, or give away. I haven't actually sold any soap. I give it away to friends and family because I'm still kind of practicing and it's not exactly sell worthy. But I do have fun doing that. So, anyway, I'm like currently sick. I am waiting for the doctor to call so I can get some medication. And I'm tired of being sick and I'm tired of getting infections. So, I know you guys can relate. I'm going to finish this section of my sock, get a few rounds in. I've been working on other things, not socks, so if I had been working on these, I probably could have got them done, but I kind of just do a few rounds here and there. And you guys have seen my bag. It's from, my brain's not going to be so good right now either, you guys. Silver Shed USA on Etsy. And the yarn is a Croy sock yarn in blueberry stripes or something, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop this so I can show an acquisition. Okay, you guys, this was a acquisition. Well, I didn't buy it, it was a gift. But I wanted to show it so I could start using it. But I got a gift from Beth with Heaven's Peacemaker. And she's really sweet. And she sent me a really nice gift, which I can't get out of the package. So bear with. And if you guys didn't know, she has an Etsy shop. And I'll try to link it down below. And she, I suffer from fibromyalgia and some other things. And so does Beth. Fibro and other things. And she sent me some really awesome stitch markers. She does stitch markers in her shop. So I did unwrap them. Here you go, there's the package there. I got everything out of the package finally. And she sent me a really sweet card, which is right here, which is fairly personal, so I'm not going to read that. And then here's her card, if you guys want to see it. And she also sent me a cute little "I Woolly Appreciate You" card. It's really cute. And then she sent me a little trophy stitch marker, which I wrote back to her and joked around that I would say that we need to get, you'll probably hear me say it a million times, I should get a medal just for getting out of bed. And it's like that when you're sick, especially with chronic illnesses. And she sent me a trophy, so I told her, hey, this is my actual trophy for getting out of bed in the morning. It's better than a medal. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you guys her packaging. So this is how she packages everything really nicely. And I took the packaging off of this one because I wanted to show you guys, which I got kind of tangled here, what she does. I totally screwed this up. There we go. So here is what she sent me, and she sent me this really, really pretty, hopefully my camera will focus. Oh, and it changed the lighting, but it's not going to focus. There we go. So as you can see, it's got like this, almost like a tiger's eye bead and some little crystals. And then there's a huge lobster claw, which hopefully you guys can see. And then she's got little stitch markers on attached to that. So these are all stitch markers. And so I got 4 spoons and a little purple ribbon. And then this one, which is attached to the ribbon one, is her logo, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, this is purple. She sent me all the spoons and everything for fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia does have a purple ribbon, but there's a lot of things that have purple ribbons. So I looked it up, but I can't remember any of it. But there's like 7 or 8 conditions that have purple ribbons. So it's, if you want a set of these, contact Beth. I don't know if she has any in his shop or if she's going to make more, but you might want to go to her shop and check it out, and if not, then like maybe give her a little email and say, hey, you know, can you make me a set if she can. The spoons go with the spoon theory. I don't know if you guys know, but anybody with a chronic illness, I think it goes back to a story of a woman trying to tell her friend. She has a chronic illness and she goes to lunch with her friend, and she's trying to explain to her friend what it's like. Because most people are like, oh, I get tired too, or oh, you should sleep more. It doesn't work that way with a chronic illness. Our fatigue is much, much deeper, bone deep, cell deep. And so we have a limited, so she pulls the silverware out. She's having lunch with her friend and she pulls the spoons out on the table and she goes, look, you know, like 4 spoons. This is what I have in a day. And this is how much, you know, a shower takes and how much it takes to go to the store. And, you know, by the end of the day, you have no spoons left. You're done. You have very limited. You have to ration those spoons. And so that's basically what the spoon theory is about. And so that's why Beth did spoons right here. And again, it can count for any chronic illness, anything that is completely bone exhausting. And the ribbon, again, is like, sheesh, 4 or 5 different conditions, health conditions use a purple ribbon. So, and chronic health conditions use spoons. So this isn't just fibro only. This is, but Beth sent it to me because we both have fibro, and it's gorgeous. I love it. I love of course, purple is the fibro color, but it's also my favorite color, purple. So of course I love everything. And I love the big lobster claw. And I love the markers because you can actually use them, if you can see them. Here, let me take a spoon off of here. Sorry, my hands aren't working the best today. I'm going to go ahead and take a spoon off of here. So you can see how they open and close. Oh, that's not a spoon, but you get the idea. I just grabbed whatever. And when you close it, it will work for knitting or crochet because this will actually fit on your needles up to this size, as well as just clip on and clip off of your crochet. So it's kind of a versatile clasp. I like that clasp, so I just don't have to use it for one particular thing. If I want to put it on a knitted project, I can do that too. Not that I've tried them on anything knitted yet. I just used them on a shawl and I clipped it to mark the right side. So just seeing it's a possibility with these. So sorry you guys if it's not focusing. It's really hard to get it to focus on. Let me see if I can get a white background. Kinda, sorta. So you can see a little better. So it's not trying to focus on my hand, but anyway, I just wanted to share that and have you guys go to Beth's shop because that was really nice of her to send me this little gift. It makes me smile every time I look at it. And I'm going to go ahead and stop here and continue filming in a minute. Hi guys, I'm just going to show some finished objects and try to get through as many of these as I can. Sorry if the lighting is super bad, but it's kind of going in and out here. But I made a couple of washcloths. I actually made 3 washcloths. There's one in white that I have in the kitchen that I was using as a kitchen rag, but it was made out of, the only cotton I kept out of that big haul that I got was, like a couple of the colors, and that was it. And one of them was the LionBrand cotton, which is really old school, and this stuff is thick. So I made the other washcloth out of this, and it's too thick for the kitchen because it's not getting dry. So I washed it and I'm going to bleach it and I'm going to use it for, I don't know, something else. But this was just out of sugar and cream, really old sugar and cream, this purple one. And then the blue one was made out of I Love This Cotton by Hobby Lobby. and these are thinner than the LionBrand. So this one's thicker because it's sugar and cream than this one, and of course you can see the size difference. Same hook size, same stitch count, and the white one was, I think, about this big, a little bit bigger than this, and a lot thicker. Yeah, I made 3 for the bingo for March, and the pattern was a free pattern off of Ravelry. I can't remember the name of it at this point, but I'll try to, if I do remember, I'll link it below. But it was a really simple pattern. I don't even think I downloaded it. I think I just like looked at it and then went with it and didn't actually save it or anything on the computer. But it's basically a half double single, and then on the other row you reverse it. So it just makes this nice pattern. And it's crocheted. This is crocheted. Sorry if you guys, if I'm a little spacey. I am trying to get this done because I kind of want to get it, I have a lot of finishes and I just want to get them all kind of put away and out of my space, but also I don't want my videos to get too long, so if I have a lot more finishes then it could take forever. And anyway, I did 3 washcloths, and yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this LionBrand cotton, because it's really not good for washcloths because they're just too thick. They don't dry, and then you know how it is, if they don't dry they smell bad, and it's really, really rough. So well, rough enough anyway. I don't know, I'll figure out something. I only kept, like I said, I only kept a couple, so maybe I'll just use it for trim for some other cotton stuff, so it's not predominantly the majority of the project. And then since this is here, I just wanted to show this. I do have a separate video on this. This was just my finish for the Little Box of Crochet February kit, and I just wove in the ends. I decided to keep the tassel and just kind of wove in the ends. It's a pin cushion, and it's super adorable. What else? I have the Jada and Stitches blanket square that I finished for July, which is a beach ball, and I'm not sure I like this one because I don't like this color here. This was before I got the big donation of my stash in the browns, the tans, like the brown. I had like, now I have like, I don't know, 7 or 8 shades of brown, but before I didn't have any, and this was the only thing I had left. And so I wanted it to be like a sand background, but I am not liking this brown at all. Especially when it's like next to the other blocks. I don't know. I think I might rip this back and then replace this brown. Or, I don't know, redo another one completely. The beach ball was fun to do. The shaping was really interesting. But, I don't know. It also has a little sun applique, and I didn't put the sun on because I couldn't decide if I was going to rip it back or not. But I'm considering it finished because I blocked it. I wove in the ends and everything. And now I'm having second thoughts, so I don't know if I'll go and do the August block. The August block is a cute little camper. Or if I'll fix this. I don't know. I'll think about it. And I also wanted to show you guys my dog sweaters. This one I designed for my Chihuahua. And the light is changing a lot, so I'm going to try to adjust this a little. Sorry if it's kind of blown out, but this was just my own design. I used the basic stitch count from a dog sweater pattern and just kind of did my own thing. You can see it's got dog hair all over it. I just used 3 different colors of hobium yarn, and I had the label. What did I do with it? In Just Wool, Lamia Just Wool, and they just have color numbers for their colors. So this was just a burgundy, then a gray, and then a navy. and I do have some leftovers, but I made it too big for my Chihuahua because I did 1x1 rib. I did a long collar because the last collar I did ended up, as it's worn, it stretches down over the body, and I wanted this one to like be longer so it would stretch better. And I did some slip stitch detail here, which to me, after I was done, I didn't like it. It just looked to me like it was inside out, and I was gonna do the other side, and my boyfriend liked this side better, so I was like, fine. That was the side I intended. Yeah, and I improvised the shaping. Now the underside's kind of a mess, but underneath I stopped it shorter because he's a boy and I wanted him to have room and have a little longer in the butt. And then this was all decreases in that rib, so it's not very pretty. You can see the decreases. But here I put the armholes in a completely wrong spot. The armholes used to be from here to here. And when I put it on him towards the end, like, it was way too, this part was way too long. So what I did was sorry you guys, I'm not feeling very well, I keep getting nauseous, so, distracting me. So what I did was I crocheted, chained around this, and steeked the stitches, because the stitches were down to here in the gray, and I just cut them up here after I crochet stitched around, because I've done steeking like this before. So, and then I sewed the bottom half shut right here, which is already kind of loosey-goosey. I left this, I didn't weave in the ends because I wasn't sure how if I was gonna keep it this way. And so now that it fits much better, but you know, I have to learn that I need to put those armholes way up higher. And I didn't put sleeves on or anything, I just kind of left them as big slits just for his convenience to get his little arms in and out and stuff. And it's okay. Obviously it was a learning experience with not to put the armholes where they said to on this one. But, yeah, because I also ended up using the extra small stitch number, and then I ended up using the small stitch number, and then here, even on the extra small, it said to do 4 inches from the neck before you started the armholes, and I did do like 4 inches from here to here, and it was way off. So I don't know what I did wrong on this one. But this one, it also stretches out a lot, so I should have just made sure I did the extra small for the whole sweater, because it's ribbing, so of course it stretches, and it's wool, and it's 100% wool, so there's no bounce back like with nylon or anything else added. So it stretches out as it's worn, and because of that, it will fall off of him. So it does really good under my boyfriend uses it. He puts a harness on him, and he puts the harness over this, and it works really, really well. It fits really nicely, so it's good for that. But just to wear it, eventually he'll walk out of it. So we're using it as a sleeping sweater because he gets cold at night and he sleeps on the bed, and it's big and squishy on him, but just not really practical to wear all day long. So he just sleeps in it at night, and it keeps him warm. So that was a learning experience. I'm not happy with you can see some of my steek stitches are kind of sticking out here and there. I'll trim those. But it could fall apart my first wash if I didn't pick up my stitches correctly before the steek. But haven't washed it yet. And then this was the first, actually technically the second sweater I made for him. And this one fits just fine. It is 100% wool. This one's Cascade 220 and scraps, and it will stretch out over time as he wears it, but it won't fall off. Big difference. And yeah, it fits him just fine. I tacked this down after I finished it. I sewed it down a little bit so that it has more room for his boy parts on the belly, but it will still stretch out and kind of get in the way. So we have to kind of roll it up when he goes pee and then put it back down so he doesn't pee on the sweater. But I think the only way to avoid that on a dog sweater is like to stop here on the bottom as it stretches out. So I'm thinking from now on Oh, and this was a drops pattern, a free drops pattern on Ravelry. I think it was just generic dog sweater name to it. So if you want to look up dog sweaters, I would just look up in Ravelry, just put dog sweaters, have everything come up. But this was, yeah, color work, their pattern. Nice pattern. But again, this is my first sweater was a complete no-go. It was too small. This was the second sweater, which fits pretty good. This was the third sweater, which I designed myself, which with the ribbing and the wool is just stretches out too much. And I gotta watch where those armholes go. And I don't know, I think it's probably a good idea just to stick with an acrylic mix in future sweaters, like a wool acrylic or just an acrylic. Because the acrylic will still keep him warm, but it won't stretch out as much. And both these stretch out a lot. This one not as much because of the color work, but it still stretches out a lot. And of course this one with the ribbing stretches out major. So I'm definitely thinking a wool acrylic blend or an acrylic in the future, just to see. Plus you can see this has been worn and it's already pilling and fuzzing up and all of that, just from wear and tear. And I'm not thinking the wool sweaters will last very long with his activity. He's a very busy boy when he's not sleeping all day, and plus with the harness going on and off and, you know, all of that. So yeah, that was a good try, but I think I'm probably going to stick with an acrylic, and eventually I'll get his measurements right so I don't have to do so much guesswork. And then this is a finish, and this is a shawl. And I made this pattern last time out of the Red Heart Soft, and I can't remember the name of the pattern right now. But these are all like a gray purple into a marled purple into a blue and into a solid blue. And this is the one I put on Instagram that I was playing yarn chicken with. On the edging, I could not get this edging to fit, so I think I had to do it like 3 or 4 times before I got it to work. It won the yarn chicken many times. And this yarn, when I first unboxed it, which I have a video of, was the Wrap Star. It's 70% acrylic, 30% wool, 437 yards, in the color Fergie. When I first started to unwrap it, it says it's a size 3, and I was like, no way, it's a lace weight, because I couldn't tell in the cake. As I was pulling it out, I was getting like one of these strands right here. And I don't know if you guys, my camera is just being really dumb with the focusing and the lighting. But anyway, it has one of these really tiny strands. Was all I could pull out when I was looking at the ball. And so when I finally got ready to work with it, I had to get a big yarn barf out to get it started. And it turns out that it's 4 strands, not 1, which, yes, makes it a 3. So, and the reason that's so pricey is, number one, the wool content, but also because they do 4 strands in the solid gray, then they put a strand in of the purple, then they put 2 strands in of the purple, then they put 3 strands in of the purple, and then they put 4 strands in of the purple. And then they do the same thing with the blue. So then it'll be 3 purple, 1 blue, 2 purple, 2 blue, 3 blue, 1 purple, and then 4 blue. So that's a lot of work. And there was no knots or breaks in the ball. So they kind of have to design it to do that in one ball, and I could see why it would be a little more on the expensive end. Just because there was a lot of work involved with that and the wool content. So yes, it is definitely more of a 3 than I thought. And that means the cotton that I got at the same time, remember I got that black and white and gray cotton, in that same haul is going to be the same way. So I couldn't tell on that one either. When I pulled it out, it looked like a lace. So it's going to be the same way. It's going to be the 4 strands, and it's going to do the same technique, but in the black and the white and all that, and in cotton. So I'll be really interested to see how that one turns out. And it's very fluffy. I don't know if you can see how bouncy this is. Very lightweight, very fluffy, very soft. Not super soft, but soft. And I haven't washed it or blocked it yet. I'm going to go ahead and do that, I don't know, when I'm feeling better. But I'm not going to like pin it out. Oops, sorry. I'm not going to pin it out to block it because I want it to keep the balance of the wool. So, anyway, that was another finish in the wrap star. And then another finish, and then I'm probably going to have to stop filming for a while, is my fingerless mitts that I did out of a hand-dyed indie yarn from Juliana's Fiber in City Lights. And again, I don't think Juliana dyes anymore. If she does, I'll link her below, but she's a Canadian dyer I used to buy a lot from back in the day when I was working. But as you can see, it fits like that, and they both fit. And originally I was going to do, as you can see here, originally I was going to do a cover to make them convertible mitts, but I had so much issues with getting these to work. It's my own design, I just designed it, and I did one at a time. And then as I did the second one, I goofed up so many times that I had to rip this one back probably like 4 or 5 times. Because I didn't take good enough notes when I made this one, and I thought I did, but I didn't. So after all of that, I was kind of burnt out, so these are washed and blocked and done completely, and I'm just going to kind of put them away for now. And if I feel like adding the convertible part later, I will, but right now I'm just like, get them done, get it out of my face. And I wrote notes and everything down, but I don't think it's the kind of thing I can just put the pattern out for you guys, because again, I had to do it to my measurements, and I have very skinny arms and hands, and you know, to do it for you guys, I'd have to do multiple sizes, and it's a very basic pattern. It's just some ribbing, and then, you know, you just do your decreases as you go up towards the hand, and then you do your thumb, so you do a thumb gusset, and all of that is very basic stuff. You can find a million patterns on that online, free patterns everywhere, and so it's not something I'd actually write up. I just did the notes for myself so I could repeat it. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do for right now because I do not feel well. I'm going to try to edit some of this together and then maybe do another video. We'll see. Plus, I'm still waiting for the doctor to call. I haven't gotten a doctor call yet, so... Okay, and then another thing that I finished, excuse the chair, was my log cabin. This is an ongoing scrap blanket. So these are just log cabin squares, and this is all out of Cascade 220. At one point way back I was using a lot of Cascade 220 and I had a lot of scraps, so I was looking for scrap projects. So this is just a log cabin. The pattern is from Very Pink Knits, and she has tutorials and everything for them too. This is knitted. So I have 1, 2, 3 squares, and then what I did, actually, is that a full square? This is not a full square. I don't think. Is it a full square? No. Yes? No. I can't even tell anymore. I don't think so. These are full squares. Maybe that one is a full square. It's just I warped it, folding it, but this is definitely not a full square right there. So I finished a square for the March bingo, and I think it is a finished square. It's just there's a different gauge to it. I think the yarn was a little, I don't know, this gray down here at the bottom was a little more stretchy. Pretty sure they're full size. Yeah, these are all fully finished. Okay, I've decided these are finished. And I finished one that I had started forever ago and put some of the scraps in there. But the problem is now I only have like the same color scraps. So I'm probably going to have to wait before I add any more to it. And it's not the best work, plus it's been squished in the bottom of a basket. It's not my best work, but it is a scrap blanket, so who cares, right? And some of these yarns stretch out more than others. There's just not the same tension. which will drive me crazy if I let it, so I gotta let it go. So I did finish a block for that, and I am going to finish more blocks. And again, it's a scrap blanket, so as you get more. Problem is, you have to kind of keep your blankets the same. So if you're using wool for one blanket, you kind of want to keep wool for the blanket overall, because of the way wool behaves. So this whole blanket I wanted to do out of wool scraps, but I'm really not buying that much Cascade 220 anymore, or working with 100% wool and fingering, and worsted. Like, because this is all worsted weight. So I'm thinking I might have to buy a few skeins of the Cascade 220 just to kind of add more colors so I can finish up the scraps I have. But that kind of defeats the point of a scrap blanket, is buying yarn. And if I'm going to buy yarn, then I'm going to want to plan out a blanket, and I don't want to spend $200 on yarn to plan a blanket. So I don't know, I have a whole bunch of Cascade and stash already that I'm not using. Oops! Because well, at one point I was making a lot of stuffies and things out of them, and it's not superwash. So these stuffies had to be hand washed, and then I'm thinking, why am I doing that? You know, and I'm giving them away as gifts and stuff, and I was like, you know, you need to use superwash, even though it changes, you know, the nature of the yarn. I can still need to, if I'm going to do wool, I need to do superwash. And then I'm like, well, I just need to switch to acrylic for any stuffies, just because it's easier to care for. And then, I don't know, I think I've had a few projects in mind for some of this, and then I changed my mind. But I bought some weird colors because I was thinking stuffies, so it was like the really bright pinks and the really bright yellows and the really gross kind of greens. They're like, I would say this green, like I have a lot of this green. It's not gross, I love green, but I mean it's kind of gross to mix with a lot of other colors because I don't have a lot of heathered colors. They're very, very in your face. So I'm thinking I might actually just break down the Cascade stash and just turn them all into blanket squares, because they've been sitting there probably for, I probably haven't made anything out of that stash. Last time I did anything was I remade an elephant for one of my granddaughters, because I made her an elephant out of Cascade superwash, and it fell apart from the love, and my daughter wanted me to make a new one that looked the same, so I had to go buy yarn for that, and that was the last time I've used anything out of a wool for a stuffy. And it's, I'm really thinking about just breaking that down, just using all that wool up and getting it out of stash. And then what I'll do is I'll use like a color around all the blocks when I put them together to kind of tie it together. But that Cascade's just sitting in stash, and it's really not, that stuff you really can't give away because most people don't use wool, and especially in worsted weight, and especially in those colors. So that's what I'm debating, is just breaking down the Cascade stash, throwing it into the blanket, and getting it over with, and so, you know, getting some space in the stash. But you know, I've always got that phobia that the minute you use something, you're gonna need it. You know, I don't need this, I'm gonna get rid of it, or I don't need this, I'm gonna give it away to a friend, or you know, and then next month you need it. It's just, I don't know, I'm paranoid. And then my last project I've been working on is the Hitafude, which I talked about last time, and I just wanted to show you guys my progress. This one's gonna take forever. There's no deadline on this one. It's lace, so I got the first lace repeat done. So after all, 3 weeks, I did one lace repeat. So I was just going to update you guys on that. In my Avinda, which was the orange and gray piece out of the lace weight, I didn't even touch. That's when I pulled out of hibernation to try to work on, and I didn't touch it. And then I was going to make some doll clothes too, and I have not even... I got a pattern ready, but I didn't do it yet. So I'm pretty much going to go with Debbie from Canadian Crocheter and just not plan anything, because every time I try to make big old plans on future projects, I either change my mind, I get sick, and I don't want to work on it, or I wanted to work on something completely different. Go figure. So I'm probably just going to do future projects. I'm probably not even going to do. I'm just going to do finished and WIPS, so you guys can understand. I'm sure y'all relate. And then my last one was my, again, I didn't do the other ones, but I started this, which is the, oh, brain, please work, Joann's Stitch Along for 2019, and Mikey from the Crochet Crowd is doing the tutorials, and it's a make a stitch along, but technically a crochet along. I don't think they're doing a knit version this year of the blanket. Last year they did a knit and a crochet, but I don't think they're doing it this year, but I could be wrong. But I didn't see it on the website. So I'm just going to say crochet along instead of stitch along, but it's a spring blanket. So you don't know what it's going to look like, you just pick some spring colors, and I, of course, got that huge stash donation, so I pulled out some of the half skeins, partial skeins, tried to get together. It's actually supposed to be 4 colors, and you're supposed to be doing over 800 yards per color. They want you to buy the Karen 1-pounders. And I didn't want to buy yarn because I need to use up stash. So I'm pulling what I have, but I don't have over 800 in all of the colors. So mine might look a little different. So I'm going to use up this blue, see how many squares I can get. I need 22 squares out of this blue, and I might make it because I'm halfway. I'm at 11. And I still have a pretty good half a skein left. I'm pretty sure it was almost a full skein, it just didn't have a label. And it feels like Karen, or it feels not the Simply Soft, the regular one, or I want to say Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn a little bit. I can't really tell. But that was I just put this on the hook like yesterday or the day before because I saw it and I had the urge. So I threw out some other projects, and plus I don't feel good, and when I don't feel good, I have another infection and all that. I like crochet because you feel like you're getting something done. I can pump out one of these squares in 5 minutes, and I just put it on my table, and when I'm watching a podcast, I just grab the hook, or I grab my socks, one or the other, because I gotta get those socks done. But I like to alternate between knitting and crochet because it's better on my hands. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, here's my bingo, and I don't think I got any bingo, you guys, because we're already on the 29th. I did the 3 washcloths. I was going to start a plushie, but didn't. I did do the fingerless gloves, or fingerless mitts. I did count this because I did do the scarf for my Joya, which I didn't show you guys. But let me pull my Joya out. Here, I had done the scarf, but it turned out huge. But this was the scarf pattern in the pattern, and I made it extra big because I want to try to wrap it around our neck because I'm making it out of worsted, and the pattern was not worsted. The pattern was like a DK, but it came out humongous, so I'm not sure if I like it or not. But the scarf is technically done. Whether I keep it or not, I don't know. I haven't done her vest yet. But that doesn't mean I won't in the future when I'm in the mood to work my way through the patterns. And then she'll be done. But again, I might be redoing that scarf. So that's the finish here. Free space. Create something that will be a gift. My first dog sweater I considered the gift for my dog. And self-striping yarn. That was the shawl that I just showed you guys out of the blue and the gray and out of the... brain's gone. Out of the yarn Wrap Star, and the pattern was the Mystic Morning shawl, I remember. So I'll try to link everything down below. So that was my self-striping yarn project. I didn't do chunky. I was going to try to do a hat, but again, it's getting warmer and we're kind of getting out of chunky season, so it's kind of hard to crank out one more chunky anything. Design a project. That was my dog sweater too, because I pretty much designed it except for the basic measurements I took from another pattern, but I designed the rest of it and messed it up. I did clean up my stash because you guys know I got that huge stash donation, so I did clean out my stash to make room for that, and I did cake up a lot of the balls that were going to tangle out of that stash. I tangled up every ball that was like down to 2/3 so it wouldn't tangle in stash. I did work on a blanket. That was my July blanket square. I was going to do the Hadley scarf, but again, that was something I was going to do and I didn't do, and then I didn't have the right yarn, and then I was going to wait, and now I have huge amounts of yarn I can do it with, but I didn't do it yet. But I am planning to do that in the future. Let's see what else. this was my socks I was gonna finish, so that's premature. I did not finish those. And I was gonna try to do something with start a new blanket with my sock yarn scraps. Didn't do that. So I think I got one bingo out of the whole bingo card. And I don't have Facebook, you guys, so I think Llama Mama Bingo has a group, Yarn Bingo group on Facebook to post all your pictures so you can enter for the giveaways. And also I think you can do it on Instagram, but I don't want to enter everything on Instagram, and I don't have Facebook. So I'm not entering, I'm just doing it for funsies. But I have one bingo, and I was hoping for at least 2, but being sick and I just didn't get it done. But it's fun. I totally enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to April because I'm hoping I can get more done in April just for funsies, because it really just fun. It kind of opens up your creativeness to go, oh, I was going to make that anyway. I'll do it for the bingo. And that's it, you guys. That's pretty much my WIPS and finishes and WIPS. For future projects, I really don't have anything because I'm afraid to plan anything at this point because I do keep getting sick over and over and over with my current health conditions and with infections, and I don't want to put the pressure on myself, so I'm just going to work on what I'm working on, and if anything new comes up, then I'll just do it and show you guys after I start it. So, okay, you guys, I might actually finish these. I might put the convertible part on these. And do it with the snap, but I have to buy the snaps, and I can't do that right now. So I'm probably just going to put it off until I can get the snaps to snap them down. Plus, I think my boyfriend wants some convertible mitts. He saw these and he wanted some, of course. So I might end up just putting these away and making some for him. I don't know. But that's really the only thing I've been thinking about. Alright, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm trying to do my 500 giveaway video pretty soon, so hopefully that will be uploaded soon. And I have a couple of unboxings coming up, so, you know, guys, tell me what you're making in the comments. If you've got any cool patterns that just popped up and you're really into, tell me what you're working on, because I love watching other podcasters to see what they're working on, and I jump on the bandwagon. But then all of the people who don't have podcasts, I mean, I want to hear what you guys are making too. You know, so just kind of give me some ideas, I guess, is what I'm saying, you know. Alright, love you, bye.